joining us. We begin tonight with Musk and Big Balls.
Big balls.
Big balls.
Big Balls, who worked for Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, Doge.
In the one case of the Big Balls kid, a literal teenager.
Big Balls online, Big Balls here that Katie's talking about.
A 19-year-old that goes by the username Big Balls.
So that would be one way that we could refer to him.
Young computer whizzes, the aforementioned Big Balls.
Because who among us doesn't feel better about big balls in charge of American air traffic control?
Now, I already covered big balls in a previous video, but for those of you who didn't watch it, Elon Musk is using a team to audit the government. And it turns out that the government doesn't like to be audited. This is not the natural way of things. The government loves auditing you. The government doesn't like it when it gets audited by the private sector. And so they're absolutely fuming because the people doing the audit are also young individuals, right? Like they didn't get into crippling student debt. They don't really have anything to lose because they don't have a strong network of connection that can be threatened. So the Democrats were livid about this for the last couple of days. And it seems to have escalated with a journalist that performed the act of offense necromancy into one of those individuals doing the audit. Finding out that he went on the internet with the name Big Balls, and when he was 16 years old, he also started his own company by the name of Sexy Tesla, right? And this is where the outrage began. It's like, how can we allow a 16-year-old to use the word sexy? Like, what is our society coming down to? Like, he's just a child. He is but an infant. Like, how can a 16-year-old use the word sexy? I'm not kidding, like, that was the CNN expose on him. Like, it was just baffling when I was watching it. They had not one, not two, but 3 Karens in order to deal with this level of outrage. And then it turns out that he also posted racismus on the internet. Yes, like, can you imagine a teenager being a cheeky little shit online? Like, who does that? My assessment of the situation was that I was really lucky for social media not to exist when I was growing up, because the things that me and my friends and every other teenager on earth did when we were growing up, if it was recorded and posted online and went viral, like, some of us may have even gone to prison. I mean, we broke a window, you know, like, holy shit. Not to mention, if you managed to listen to the banter and the trash talk that went down, you know, like a lot of death threats and stuff. No one got killed, by the way. But, like, you know, trash talking between boys. Like, horrible. Like, if social media existed, none of us should be able to get a job anywhere on earth. And so, like, this is the mentality that apparently the left-leaning people are trying to push in 2025. It's like, if you ever said something problematic online, then you should never get a job ever. And so they managed to fire Big Balls. But then after a while, Elon Musk went like, hey, wait a minute, like, why are we firing him? Like, okay, he said racist shit online, but is this affecting his job performance? Is this affecting him as a producer of value? Like, no, it would affect him as his ability of being favored. Yeah, like, his talking points aren't favored, but he is producing value, which is what corporations actually need. And it seems that the government also needs more value rather than more favor. And so Elon Musk made a poll on Twitter, already knowing the results. People overwhelmingly want Big Balls to come back. And this caused a lot of assert, like massive bot rage. It's almost like 9/11 for leftist culture, because this is how they managed to dominate the political sphere, not with logic or arguments or promoting competent people, but by constructing an apparatus of cancel culture, by combining moral blackmail, weaponized empathy, reputational destruction, and emotional manipulation. Making sure that the people who occupy positions of power are people that are favored rather than people that produce value. And so when J.D. Vance is saying enough, we're not going to be manipulated emotionally by you. We're not going to accept your morality, because we actually saw where your morality leads. We saw the previous administration with energy secretaries that are stealing women's underwear, with people that are doing la cocaína in the White House, with the boot sex in the Senate, with the transgender boobies in front of the White House. Like, no one is interested in leftist morality anymore. Like, it seems like they can do the talk, you know, they do the speech, they say the correct things, but their behavior is abhorrent. And so they're not interested in virtue or creating a just society. They are actually interested in just having the favored people in positions of power. And, you know, throughout my channel, I said that, look, by exposing their hypocrisy constantly, eventually people will stop putting up with it. And I was right, because this is the perfect field for J.D. Vance to come up and to respond to this person that says, are you going to tell him to apologize for saying normalize Indian hate before this rehire? Just asking for the sake of both of our children. Like, peak Karen behavior. Like, this whole thing, it's like you need to apologize. Like, can you name me a single public apology in the history of the United States of America that was actually accepted? Because this is not about apology. This is like you want him to confess to his crime so that we can move forward with the prosecution. Like, you're already pretending that the majority of the public agrees with you. And your statement is that if a teenager says some bullshit online, then that should haunt him for the rest of his life. And so J.D. Vance just demolishes the entire leftist framework by saying, for the sake of both of our kids, grow up. Racist trolls on the internet, while offensive, don't threaten my kids. Like, finally, we are moving back to sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words can never hurt me. Like, we're bringing back sanity into the culture, right? Like, shit that's online doesn't threaten my kids. But you know what does? A culture that denies grace to people who make mistakes. A culture that encourages congressmen to act like whiny children. I mean, this is fucking spot on. Like, let me put it this way, right? If you have trolls on the internet saying edgy shit, that is indeed a less of a problem for my children than a culture where if my child ever says a joke, or if he ever shares a meme, or if he ever does something bad, that can haunt him for the rest of his life. And every single time he wants to get a job, like, that gets to be brought back up. Like, that is incredibly more dangerous for all of our children than the fact that, oh, you know, like, some trolls are on a Discord server and they're saying shit that's already popular on the internet. Even if that shit I don't happen to agree with, like, there's a possibility that they can grow out of it. There's a possibility that they're just kidding around and joking and not really meaning it. Like, when did we as a society decide that every single thing a person posts online is official court document signed and written in blood, and they 100% mean it, and they are an actual danger for society at large if not contained? Like, I'm sorry, but the rest of the world is not Britain. You know, like, if Britain wants to embrace this type of culture, a culture that encourages lawmakers to act like whiny children, then that's them. But, like, the rest of the world doesn't want that. Like, the rest of the world wants to be treated like adults, and sometimes adults are shit posters, sometimes adults are trolls, and sometimes adults trash talk and banter. So, this was just a complete one-sided victory for right-wing culture, and I definitely hope that I will see more of it. In the meantime, please consider subscribing to the channel, and also, I got a subscribe star. If you want to help the channel, you know, if a small donation is like $5, $10, maybe then I can buy a new phone so that the battery doesn't die while I'm recording the video. I just noticed that my troll is dead. Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.